In today's episode, we're exploring 5 deadly encounters where people were ripped apart after taking a photo with dangerous animals. From a college student who climbed into a lion's enclosure to a veterinary technician whose conservation message became her final post. Let's begin with the first story, where one woman's quest led her straight into the jaws of death. It was July 22, 2016, and the scorching Oklahoma sun beat down on the dusty grounds of Wild Heart Big Cat Sanctuary, a private-owned facility nestled among rolling hills 30 miles outside Tulsa. The 50-acre property housed over 20 rescued lions, tigers, and other exotic cats in a collection of chain-link enclosures that stretched across the rural landscape. The afternoon air shimmered with heat, while the distant sounds of roaring and pacing echoed from various habitats as the cats sought shade from the oppressive summer temperatures. Ashley Martinez, a 23-year-old college student from Dallas, had discovered the sanctuary through social media while road tripping with her boyfriend Jake through Oklahoma's quirky roadside attractions. Ashley was constantly seeking unique photo opportunities for her personal memories, having grown up taking pictures at every family vacation and special event. Her phone was filled with daredevil shots from cliff edges, abandoned buildings, and extreme sports activities that showcased her fearless personality to friends and family. Ashley had grown up in suburban Dallas as the youngest of 3 sisters, developing a competitive streak that drove her to constantly push boundaries and seek attention through increasingly dramatic stunts. Her psychology major at Texas Tech University had given her confidence in reading people and situations, but her academic knowledge didn't extend to understanding animal behavior. That afternoon, Ashley and Jacob paid the sanctuary's fee for a close encounter experience that promised visitors the chance to observe big cats during feeding demonstrations and educational presentations. The facility operated in a legal gray area, offering interactions that legitimate zoos and accredited sanctuaries would never permit. African lions are apex predators that retain all their wild instincts regardless of human contact or hand-rearing. Adult males can weigh up to 420 pounds and possess incredible strength, speed, and territorial behaviors that make them extremely dangerous in captivity. Lions are social animals with complex hierarchies, but they view humans as either threats to be eliminated or prey to be consumed. Their powerful jaws can deliver bite forces exceeding 650 pounds per square inch, while their razor-sharp claws can inflict fatal wounds with a single swipe. Ashley watched the feeding demonstration with growing excitement as the sanctuary owner led visitors around the various enclosures while sharing dubious stories about each animal's rescue. The highlight of the tour was Caesar, a massive 400-pound male African lion who had been hand-raised from a cub and appeared remarkably calm during the presentation. As the tour concluded and other visitors began leaving, Ashley saw her opportunity for the ultimate photo. She whispered her plan to Jake, asking him to distract the sanctuary owner while she climbed over the barrier for a close-up selfie with Caesar. While Jake engaged the owner in conversation, Ashley quietly approached Caesar's enclosure and climbed over the 4-foot chain-link barrier. The massive lion was resting approximately 10 feet away, his golden eyes tracking her movement but showing no immediate signs of aggression. Ashley crouched down beside the massive lion and extended her phone to capture both herself and Caesar in the frame. Caesar's demeanor changed subtly as Ashley moved closer, his ears flattening slightly against his massive head, while his tail began twitching with increasing frequency. The attack came with explosive suddenness. Caesar's predatory instincts activated the moment Ashley moved to adjust her pose, triggering millions of years of evolutionary programming that recognized her as prey within its territory. The 400-pound lion launched himself at Ashley with devastating speed, covering the distance between them in a single powerful bound. Ashley's phone flew from her grip as Caesar's massive paws struck her chest, driving her backward onto the dusty ground, while his razor-sharp claws found purchase on her torso and shoulders. The lion's powerful jaws clamped down on Ashley's neck, his 4-inch canine teeth puncturing through muscle and vertebra with crushing force. Caesar's territorial instincts drove him to continue the assault, his powerful claws raking across Ashley's body while his crushing bite maintained its grip on her throat. Ashley's movements grew weaker as massive blood loss and spinal trauma overwhelmed her system. Jake's horrified screams brought the sanctuary owner running, but Caesar's aggressive posture over his kill made immediate intervention extremely dangerous. Ashley's movement ceased within minutes, as Caesar's brutal assault proved fatal. Emergency responders arrived within 30 minutes, but there was nothing they could do for Ashley. The investigation revealed that the facility had been operating without proper permits and insurance, violating numerous state regulations regarding public safety around dangerous animals. Caesar was relocated to an accredited sanctuary with proper containment measures. Ashley's death devastated her family and prompted her university to implement enhanced safety education for students traveling during breaks. The incident led to stricter regulations for private exotic animal facilities in Oklahoma and enhanced enforcement of existing safety laws. Ashley's tragic quest for the perfect selfie wasn't unique among people who underestimated the dangers of wild animals. Across the country in Florida, a tourist's casual approach to wildlife photography would prove equally fatal when he ignored basic safety protocols during an Everglades tour. It was September 8, 2014, and the vast wetlands of the Florida Everglades stretched endlessly under the blazing afternoon sun, their sawgrass prairies and cypress swamps teeming with some of America's most dangerous wildlife. The remote waterways near Tamiami Trail buzzed with the activity of airboat tours carrying tourists deep into alligator territory, where massive reptiles basked on mud banks and hunted in the dark water channels. Michael Chen, a 35-year-old software engineer from Seattle, was experiencing his first visit to Florida as part of a cross-country road trip he was taking to celebrate his recent promotion. Michael had always been fascinated by technology and outdoor adventure, spending his weekends hiking in the Pacific Northwest Mountains. His engineering background had given him confidence in analyzing risks and solving problems, but his experience with dangerous wildlife was limited to black bears and mountain lions that could be avoided through proper precautions. Michael had grown up in urban Seattle, developing his love of nature through weekend camping trips with his father and uncle. His methodical approach to problem solving had made him successful in his career, but it had also given him perhaps too much confidence in his ability to assess and manage dangerous situations. Michael enjoyed taking photos of his travels to share with his family and friends back home. That afternoon, Michael had joined a small group airboat tour that promised close encounters with alligators and other Everglades wildlife. The tour guide, a weathered Floridian with decades of swamp experience, had repeatedly warned passengers to remain seated and keep hands inside the boat at all times. American alligators are apex predators that have remained virtually unchanged for over 200 million years, perfectly adapted for their role as ambush hunters in aquatic environments. Adult males can reach lengths of 14 feet and weights exceeding 1,000 pounds, with jaw muscles capable of exerting over 3,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. Alligators can launch themselves partially out of the water with explosive force, and they view any movement near their territory as either prey to be consumed or threats to be eliminated. The airboat tour had been progressing smoothly for nearly an hour when the guide spotted a massive alligator sunning itself on a mud bank approximately 20 feet from their position. The reptile was an exceptional specimen, easily 12 feet in length and weighing over 800 pounds. Its prehistoric form perfectly motionless in the afternoon heat. Michael immediately began photographing the magnificent predator, excited to capture images of such an impressive wild animal to show his colleagues back in Seattle. However, his enthusiasm quickly overcame his caution as he leaned farther over the boat's edge to get closer shots of the massive alligator. The fatal moment came when Michael's phone slipped from his grip and began falling toward the dark water. Without thinking, Michael lunged forward and extended his body over the side of the airboat, desperately trying to catch his expensive device before it disappeared into the swamp. The massive alligator had been monitoring the boat's presence with predatory patience, and Michael's sudden movement triggered its attack response immediately. The 800-pound reptile exploded from the mud bank with terrifying speed, its powerful tail propelling it through the water like a missile aimed directly at Michael's exposed position. The alligator's massive jaws clamped down on Michael's outstretched arm with bone-crushing force, its 3,000 pounds of bite pressure instantly shattering bones and severing major arteries. Michael's scream of shock and pain echoed across the swamp as the reptile's momentum pulled him completely over the side of the airboat and into the murky water. The tour guide and other passengers grabbed desperately at Michael's legs, trying to pull him back into the boat while the massive alligator maintained its crushing grip on his arm. The alligator immediately began its signature death roll, spinning rapidly in the water while maintaining its devastating grip on Michael's arm. Michael's struggles grew weaker as the combination of massive blood loss, crushing injuries, and drowning overwhelmed his body. The alligator's grip never loosened as it continued the death roll with mechanical precision, each rotation causing additional trauma while ensuring its prey could not escape. Within minutes, Michael's movement ceased as the alligator's brutal assault proved fatal. The massive reptile dragged his body into deeper water, where it disappeared beneath the surface with its kill. Emergency responders arrived within the hour, but Michael's body was not recovered until the following day when wildlife officials located the massive alligator and retrieved the remains. The tour company immediately implemented physical barriers around all passenger seating areas and enhanced safety briefings for future tours. Michael's death prompted his family to advocate for stricter safety regulations in the wildlife tourism industry. The incident highlighted the deadly consequences of ignoring safety warnings around apex predators and became a cautionary tale about the dangers of prioritizing photography over personal safety. But Florida's dangerous wildlife wasn't the only threat to photographers seeking dramatic shots. In the mountains of Tennessee, a nurse's encounter with a seemingly innocent bear family would prove that maternal instincts make even familiar animals exponentially more dangerous. It was May 14th, 2017, and the ancient mountains of Great Smoky Mountains National Park rose majestically above the Tennessee landscape, their peaks shrouded in the characteristic mist that gave the range its name. The late spring afternoon was perfect for hiking, with golden sunlight filtering through the dense canopy of oak, maple, and hickory trees, while wildflowers carpeted the forest floor in brilliant colors. Sarah Johnson, a 29-year-old registered nurse from Atlanta, was enjoying a weekend hiking trip with her fiancé Tom, exploring the park's extensive trail system while taking photos to commemorate their engagement celebration. Sarah had always loved nature photography as a hobby, carrying her camera on every outdoor adventure to capture memories of their time together. Her medical background had given her a practical understanding of emergency situations, but her experience with dangerous wildlife was limited. Sarah had been hiking throughout the Southeast for over 5 years, building her confidence and wilderness skills through countless weekend adventures with Tom. She worked long shifts at Grady Hospital's emergency department, and these mountain getaways provided essential stress relief from her demanding career saving lives in one of Atlanta's busiest trauma centers. That afternoon, Sarah and Tom were hiking through a remote alpine meadow when they discovered something extraordinary. 2 black bear cubs playing in the tall grass while their mother was nowhere to be seen. Sarah immediately recognized this as a once-in-a-lifetime photo opportunity that would create incredible memories of their engagement trip. Black bears are North America's most common bear species, but mother bears with cubs become exponentially more aggressive and territorial than solitary individuals. Female bears will attack without warning to defend their young, viewing any human presence near their cubs as a mortal threat that must be eliminated immediately. Mother bears possess incredible strength and speed, capable of running up to 30 miles per hour through dense forest terrain. Sarah began photographing the adorable cubs from what she believed was a safe distance, but her excitement at capturing such rare footage led her to gradually move closer for better shots. Tom repeatedly urged her to maintain distance and leave the area, but Sarah was convinced that the mother bear was not nearby. The cubs continued their playful behavior, wrestling and tumbling through the meadow grass, while Sarah documented their every move. Her photography session continued for nearly 10 minutes, as she captured dozens of images. Sarah's fatal mistake was positioning herself between the cubs and their natural escape route to the forest edge. As she moved to get a better angle for her shots, she unknowingly blocked the path the cubs would take to reach safety if threatened. This positioning triggered the protective instincts of their mother, who had been watching from the tree line. The mother bear's charge from the forest was swift and terrifying. The 200-pound female covered the distance to Sarah's position in seconds, her powerful legs propelling her massive frame with surprising speed, while her territorial fury focused entirely on eliminating the perceived threat to her cubs. Sarah attempted to retreat when she saw the charging bear, but her foot caught on the fallen log and she tumbled backward while still clutching her camera. The mother bear reached Sarah's position before she could regain her footing, striking her with bone-crushing force. The bear's massive paw connected with Sarah's back, her razor-sharp claws raking across Sarah's spine and shoulders, while the impact shattered several ribs. Sarah's camera flew from her grip as the bear's enormous weight pinned her to the ground, her attempts to call for help silenced by the crushing pressure on her chest. The mother bear's powerful jaws clamped down on Sarah's neck, her crushing bite force fracturing vertebrae and severing vital arteries. The bear's protective instincts drove her to continue the assault until she was certain the threat to her cubs had been completely eliminated. Within minutes, Sarah's movement ceased as the mother bear's brutal assault proved fatal. The protective mother remained near Sarah's body for several more minutes, ensuring the threat was neutralized before gathering her cubs and disappearing into the dense forest. Park rangers arrived over an hour later in response to Tom's emergency call, but Sarah was already dead from massive trauma. The bear family was tracked but left undisturbed, as wildlife officials determined the mother had been acting within normal protective behavioral patterns when defending her young. Sarah's death devastated the hiking community and prompted enhanced educational programs about wildlife safety and proper distance protocols. Her family established a foundation promoting wilderness safety education, ensuring her passion for conservation would continue through enhanced protection for both wildlife and outdoor enthusiasts. Yet, even in controlled environments with professional supervision, the quest for dramatic animal photos continued to prove fatal. In Texas, a personal trainer's confidence in his physical abilities would mean nothing when he entered the territory of one of nature's most powerful predators. It was November 3rd, 2015. In the sprawling grounds of Lone Star Exotic Ranch, stretched across 300 acres of East Texas countryside, where wealthy clients paid premium prices for once-in-a-lifetime photo sessions with dangerous predators. The private facility operated in the shadows of legitimate wildlife conservation, offering interactions that accredited zoos would never permit. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across custom-built enclosures housing tigers, lions, and other big cats acquired through questionable channels. Brandon Walsh, a 27-year-old personal trainer from Houston, had discovered the ranch through word-of-mouth recommendations from clients who had visited similar facilities. Brandon was passionate about fitness and adventure, always seeking new challenges that would test his physical and mental limits. He had saved money for months to afford this unique experience, viewing it as the ultimate test of his courage and confidence around dangerous animals. Brandon had built his personal training business through dedication and hard work, developing a reputation for helping clients overcome their fears and achieve seemingly impossible fitness goals. His confident personality and fearless approach to challenges had made him popular among Houston's fitness community, though his success had perhaps made him overconfident about his ability to handle any dangerous situation. That afternoon, Brandon had paid the ranch's exorbitant fee for a private photo session with Sasha, a 300-pound female Bengal tiger who had been hand-raised from a cub. The ranch owner, a former circus trainer with decades of experience handling big cats, had agreed to supervise the session while repeatedly emphasizing the extreme dangers involved. Bengal tigers are among the world's most powerful predators, with adult females weighing up to 350 pounds and possessing incredible strength, speed, and hunting instincts that remain sharp regardless of human contact. These magnificent cats are solitary, territorial animals that can become extremely aggressive when their personal space is violated. Their powerful jaws can deliver bite forces exceeding 1,000 pounds per square inch, while their razor-sharp claws can grow up to 4 inches long. The photo session began with Brandon positioned outside Sasha's enclosure, capturing dramatic shots of himself posed near the massive predator while maintaining the safety barrier between them. However, Brandon quickly became frustrated with the distance, believing he needed closer contact to create the dramatic photos he had envisioned. Brandon convinced the ranch owner to allow him closer access to Sasha, arguing that his physical conditioning and confident energy would keep the tiger calm during the shoot. Against his better judgment and all established safety protocols, the owner agreed to let Brandon enter a smaller holding area adjacent to Sasha's main enclosure. The holding area was separated from Sasha's territory by only a chain link barrier, bringing Brandon within arm's reach of the massive predator. Brandon began posing for his camera, which was mounted on a tripod and set to take photos automatically. Brandon's fatal mistake was crouching down next to the barrier and extending his hand towards Sasha, believing that his confident demeanor would demonstrate his dominance over the apex predator. The tiger's ears flattened slightly against her massive head, and her tail began twitching with increasing frequency. Sasha's attack was swift and devastating. The moment Brandon moved suddenly to adjust his pose for another photo, the tiger's hunting instincts activated with explosive force. Sasha launched herself at the barrier with tremendous power, her massive paws striking the chain-link fencing while her razor-sharp claws found purchase on Brandon's extended arm. The tiger's incredible strength pulled Brandon against the barrier, while her powerful jaws snapped at his position through the fencing. The tiger's claws raked across Brandon's arm and shoulder, opening deep gashes that immediately began bleeding profusely, while her crushing grip prevented any possibility of retreat. The ranch owner rushed to intervene, using emergency protocols to distract Sasha and force her to release her grip on Brandon. However, the tiger's claws had already caused catastrophic damage to Brandon's arm and shoulder, severing major arteries and causing massive blood loss that quickly overwhelmed his system. Brandon collapsed from shock and blood loss within minutes of the attack, his physical conditioning proving useless against injuries that no human could survive. Emergency responders arrived within 20 minutes, but Brandon had already died from massive trauma and blood loss. The investigation revealed that the ranch had been operating without proper permits and insurance, violating numerous state regulations regarding public safety around dangerous animals. Sasha was relocated to an accredited sanctuary with proper containment measures, while the facility was permanently closed by Texas wildlife authorities. Brandon's death sent shockwaves through the fitness community and prompted enhanced safety education about the dangers of using wild animals as props for photography. His family filed lawsuits against the facility, arguing that inadequate safety measures had contributed to the tragedy. But even facilities that claim to support conservation sometimes exploit both animals and visitors for profit. In Florida, a veterinary technician's genuine desire to promote primate welfare would become her final advocacy effort when she underestimated the strength of our closest animal relatives. It was April 17, 2018, and the humid Florida air hung heavy over the grounds of Sunshine Primate Sanctuary, a controversial facility that claimed to rescue primates while actually exploiting them for tourist photographs. The 20-acre property housed over 30 primates in substandard conditions, generating revenue through photo sessions that legitimate sanctuaries would never permit. The afternoon sun beat down on concrete enclosures where gorillas, chimpanzees, and other primates paced restlessly behind inadequate barriers. Jessica Rodriguez, a 31-year-old veterinary technician from Tampa, had visited the facility with her husband Carlos as part of what she believed was a legitimate conservation effort. Jessica had always been passionate about animal welfare, taking photos of animals throughout her career to document their care and recovery. Her genuine love for animals had driven her to pursue veterinary technology training while working nights to support herself through school. Jessica had dedicated her career to animal welfare, earning her veterinary technology degree through years of hard work and sacrifice. Her passion for primate conservation had led her to volunteer at legitimate sanctuaries and support organizations working to protect great apes in the wild. Jessica genuinely believed that her visit to Sunshine Primate Sanctuary would help promote conservation efforts through the photos she planned to take. That afternoon, Jessica was participating in what the facility marketed as an educational encounter with King, a 350-pound silverback gorilla who had been acquired from a defunct research facility. The sanctuary's minimal safety measures consisted of a chain-link barrier that separated visitors from the gorilla's enclosure, with no additional protection or supervision from qualified staff. Silverback gorillas are among the most powerful primates on Earth, with adult males weighing up to 400 pounds and possessing the strength of 10 grown men. These magnificent animals are highly intelligent and emotionally complex, but they're also territorial and can become extremely aggressive when they perceive threats to their domain. Gorillas communicate through complex body language and vocalizations, and they can shift from calm to violent behavior within seconds. Their massive hands can grip with crushing force, while their powerful jaws contain sharp canine teeth capable of inflicting severe wounds. Jessica approached the barrier with her camera, hoping to capture images that would convey the gorilla's intelligence and emotional depth. King appeared calm as he sat near the fence, his massive frame relaxed while he observed the human visitors with apparent curiosity. Jessica began photographing the magnificent animal, excited about the conservation message she could share through these intimate portraits. The fatal moment came when Jessica decided to reach through the fence to touch King, believing that physical contact would create a more powerful image for her conservation advocacy. She had observed the gorilla's calm demeanor and interpreted it as friendliness rather than the calculated patience of a territorial animal assessing potential threats. King's reaction was instantaneous and devastating. The moment Jessica's hand passed through the barrier, the 350-pound silverback grabbed her arm with crushing strength and pulled her against the chain-link fencing. Jessica's scream of shock and pain filled the facility as King's grip tightened with bone-crushing force. Carlos and other visitors tried desperately to free Jessica from King's grasp, but the gorilla's strength was far beyond human capability to overcome. King's massive hand maintained its crushing grip on Jessica's arm, while his other hand reached through the barrier to grab her head and shoulders, pulling her harder against the inadequate fencing. The silverback's territorial instincts drove him to continue the assault, his powerful hands inflicting devastating trauma to Jessica's head, neck, and arms while she remained trapped against the barrier. Jessica's attempts to break free only seemed to increase King's aggressive behavior, as he interpreted her struggles as continued threats to his territory. Jessica's movements grew weaker as massive blood loss and crushing injuries overwhelmed her body. King's grip never loosened as he continued to pull her against the barrier. His territorial fury focused entirely on eliminating what he perceived as an intrusion into his domain. Within minutes, Jessica's struggles ceased as King's brutal assault proved fatal. The massive gorilla maintained his grip on her lifeless form while displaying threatening behavior toward anyone who approached the enclosure. Emergency responders arrived with tranquilizer equipment, but Jessica was already dead from massive trauma. The investigation revealed that Sunshine Primate Sanctuary had been operating as an illegal roadside zoo, exploiting both animals and visitors for profit while providing inadequate safety measures and animal care. The facility was immediately raided and shut down by state authorities, with all primates relocated to legitimate sanctuaries. King was transferred to an accredited facility with proper containment and enrichment programs, where he could live out his remaining years in conditions appropriate for his species. Jessica's death prompted enhanced regulations for facilities claiming to operate as animal sanctuaries, and stricter enforcement of existing wildlife protection laws. Jessica's family established a foundation supporting legitimate primate conservation efforts, ensuring that her genuine passion for animal welfare would continue through organizations that truly protected great apes rather than exploiting them for profit.